Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. A widespread string of storms worked across Nebraska overnight, lingering into Tuesday morning and drawing tornado warnings in eastern Nebraska. Tornado warnings issued twice Tuesday morning, once in southeast Nebraska near Valparaiso and in northeast Nebraska near Stanton. There were no reports of any tornadoes on the ground, but widespread reports of heavy wind damage have begun coming in, including details on outbuildings losing roofs and power poles getting knocked down south of Windside. Northeast Power reported multiple power outages in Pierce, Wayne, and Dixon counties. The storm systems also brought heavy rain, prompting flood advisories and warnings throughout eastern Nebraska. Rain gauges in towns like Concord and Hubbard reported over 2 inches of rainfall by mid-morning. That after the first wave of storms that came through overnight, which brought multiple reports of wind gusts over 70 miles per hour and reports of golf ball-sized hail in north-central Nebraska. Meanwhile, 3 fires in north-central Nebraska that emergency officials say were sparked by lightning are now contained. As News Channel Nebraska first reported Monday night, around 25 fire departments responded to the fires. The Sand Reed fire was the first one reported, located in Cherry County, northwest of Ellesmere. The Windmill fire about 8 miles south of Thedford in Thomas County, and the Dent fire about 3 miles northeast of Seneca in Thomas County. Region 26 Emergency Management says no structures were reported damaged, although there are likely other losses, including fence posts. In other news today, law enforcement around the country conduct high numbers of traffic stops every day, each time bringing risk into play, which they say makes Scott's Law crucial. Jake Bartecki has more.
Behind me here on U.S. Highway 77 in southeast Nebraska, cars are going by at rates of speed of 70 miles per hour. I'm about 3 feet from my camera right now. An uncautious driver can put a police officer 3 feet from a car going by at over 70 miles per hour, making it very important to follow Scott's Law.
Started to get out of my vehicle, opened my door, and then my computer dinged, so I closed my door, got back in, and about 2 seconds later, I got sideswiped by a big delivery truck that just kept going. So
Gage County Sheriff Sergeant Tim Hansen has had his own close calls while conducting traffic stops. The issue is on responders' minds as Officer Ross Bartlett of Ceresco tragically died during a routine traffic stop on Friday. It happened on Highway 77 about 20 miles north of Lincoln. These type of instances are a good reminder of the use of Scott's Law, which requires motorists to change lanes when possible or to at least move over and slow down when encountering emergency personnel on the roadways. Chief Deputy Doug Klaus reminds the public to avoid distracted driving.
I think it gives, importance to the fact that the motoring public just needs to pay attention so we can avoid a tragedy that happened like the one recently.
And if you're the one being pulled over, there's also considerations.
Pull over, into a safe area to where you're off to the roadway, and if you can, and just come to a slow stop and then pull over, and the deputy or the officer will position their vehicle, to where it provides a cushion of safety, for both the motorist and the interacting law enforcement officer.
As the community mourns the loss of an officer, Hansen asks that drivers are as careful as ever, whether it's on the highway or city roads.
it's not worth it to try and speed through the scene of an accident or anything like that, because high likelihood that somebody's going to get hurt.
In Beatrice, Jake Bartecki, News Channel, Nebraska.
Well, despite developers putting the project on hold, a redevelopment to bring housing and retail to northeast Nebraska still dominating talks at a city council. Ryan Pattee has more.
The City of Norfolk approved a zoning change at 105 East Norfolk Avenue on Monday. The property has been a piece of discussion that the city has had after a project proposal was suggested to turn the area into a retail and residential area. However, due to what the developer, Mark Auto and MUD LLC, said was unnecessary hostility from some residents, the project was placed on hold. Still, the Greater Norfolk Economic Development Foundation is hoping to move forward in renovating the area, despite their disappointment at the project's freezing. The foundation presented their request for the area to be rezoned as a central commercial district on Monday to bring redevelopment to the area. While the project is currently off the table, some residents did take the opportunity to talk about it. Some expressed anger and frustration at being labeled toxic and hostile for their comments and opinions made on the project, while others expressed hope that the developer may come back to the table and revisit investing the $32 million into the project. Others expressed concern that the zone change would create traffic and parking issues, as the zoning change would remove requirements for parking on the property. Still, the city approved the zoning change in a 6-1 vote. Reporting in Norfolk for News Channel Nebraska, I'm Ryan Pattee.
Beatrice's City Council has declared 3 current elementary school buildings blighted and substandard. The move opens up the possibility of tax increment financing for redevelopment of the sites. Beatrice Public Schools getting a new pre-kindergarten through 5th grade building this coming school year. The buildings they're leaving were built back in the 1950s.
This Stoddard School area is just where Stoddard School sits. It's adjacent to area number 2, which is the downtown. And so we have an amendment to area 2 that will draw a little leg down and pick up where Stoddard School is at. This is the plan. When we're all done, assuming you pass all of these tonight, we'll be at 34%. Again, the city is allowed to have 35% of the city designated as one standard.
Lincoln Elementary School will become a part of 2 newly designated areas. Public hearings were held on those changes last night. Templemeyer says that between the 3 sites, there could be room for an estimated 50 to 60 homes. Beatrice's preschool building, formerly the Cedar School, was already in an area declared blighted and substandard. State officials will be traveling across the state offering details on what they're calling transformative changes for families with children with developmental disabilities. The Department of Health and Human Services has announced 6 public hearings to discuss the department's recent elimination of the Developmental Disabilities Registry. Nebraskans on the registry, which included a wait list of over 2,700 as of March, were essentially stuck in line seeking state services to allow kids with disabilities to receive care in home. That registry is being replaced with expanded Medicaid for DD-eligible children and home-based waivers of up to $10,000 in services for 850 children a year. The DHHS will be discussing these changes at 5 in-person hearings in Gearing, Kearney, Omaha, Lincoln, and Norfolk between April 22nd and May 9th. There will also be a virtual hearing on Zoom on May 13th. More info on the dates and times can be found at the DHHS's website. Book banning on the rise at schools across the U.S. According to a new report, 4,300 instances of book bans during the first half of this school year. That's already more than the entire 2022-23 school year, which had 3,300 book bans. Florida topped the list, 3,100 bans in 11 school districts. Iowa made it into the top 5 with 142 bans. Nebraska toward the bottom, recording just 6 instances of books being banned. The report was compiled by PEN America, a century-old literary and free expression advocacy group. They say books that discuss sex, abortion, or rape among the most censored. Other books targeted feature narratives about race, racism, and LGBTQ themes. Well, a new school district is coming to Nebraska, giving a northeast Nebraska town reason to celebrate. Andrew Pfeiffer has more.
After being informed that Holy Family High School was closing back in February of 2023, the town of Lindsay took a step in another direction.
Nobody anticipates that their school will no longer exist in the coming years, and so a lot of changes had to happen.
Changes that will provide the students the ability to stay in Lindsay with a brand new school. Monday was the steel beam ceremony for the new Lindsay Academy High School, where the final beam was signed by community members before being hoisted into place. What was originally intended to be a gym and an event center is now a new school for the community.
We look forward to offering non-public faith-based education for the whole region.
We don't want to not offer any opportunity to our students. If there's something that our students are wanting, we'll do the best that we can to make that a possibility for them.
With the help of Lindsay Area Development as well as other backers, the school's construction is moving forward.
I think there's a lot of pride in the community. I think that everybody has stepped up to the plate and put forth the effort, whether it be monetary or time, whatever they need to see the success and growth that the community is about.
With 45 students already enrolled, the school plans to start classes for the 2024-2025 school year. Reporting in Lindsay, Andrew Pfeiffer, News Channel, Nebraska.
And in the fall of 2022, Kooper Reece was riding high as a Division II football All-American candidate for his home state school. Now, he's just working step by step to get to play another snap. Michael Shively has his story.
Kooper Reece doesn't need to be here. Instead of running sprints on the sideline at UNK football practice, he could be back home working on his family ranch near Valentine.
I'm stubborn, I guess.
Reece graduated last May, but he's here grinding out his rehab from a devastating right knee injury in hopes of playing a 7th season of college football.
Between my parents, the players, my roommates, all that, they weren't going to let me just walk away.
The injury happened October 1st, 2022 against Fort Hays State.
I was blocking the guy, and next thing I know, I was on my back, and that was it.
Reece tore his patellar tendon off his tibia, ruptured his ACL, tore his MCL, and tore his meniscus.
I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew something was wrong. I didn't want to look at my legs. I didn't know which way my toes were going to be pointing or something like that.
2 surgeries, and a year and a half later, he's participating in spring practice, doing everything except going live. Coach Ryan Held says it's a testament to the offensive lineman's passion for his team.
You're just like, man, this guy loves this. He loves the Lopers. He wants to be here.
The second I stepped on this campus, I was surrounded by good guys, like the older guys when I was redshirt, all that. And seeing them go through COVID and just taking that extra year to come back and just give it one last shot, that's kind of what kept me going through all of it.
37-10. You can count Held among those cheering for the 6'6", 300-pound left tackle's full recovery.
You watch his film before he got hurt. I mean, he was, you could say, one of the best linemen in the MIAA. And so he just brings a lot of value on all aspects, on the field, off the field, in the community.
The Cherry County Ranch will always be there. Right now, Reece wants to finish out his Loper career and see if he can continue playing the position he loves as a professional.
I honestly think it makes you a better man in general, because skilled players, they get all the praise, but when something goes wrong, it's on the offensive line. You kind of got to take that on the chin and move on to the next play. You can't let one play define an entire series or a game, so you just got to keep rolling with the punches.
Something Reece plans to do for at least one more season. In Kearney, Michael Shively, News Channel, Nebraska.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.